Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Deja Vu here, and I'm going to bring you some more StarCraft commentary. This is only going to be a partial series for Wounded Stars versus Samsung Con. I got a little too much work to do, so yeah, I'm only going to cast 2 games. This first one is going to be Jangbi versus Light, and the second one is going to be Zero versus Stork. So yeah, 3 of my favorite players, so it's going to be pretty awesome. I was actually thinking about not casting this at all, but yeah, when I saw the lineup, I just had to. Yeah, this first game is going to be Jangbi versus Light on Ground Zero, the map that looks kind of like Grand Line, if you'll remember. And Jangbi, your OSL champion, my favorite player, the PvT god that he is, Jangbi Almighty. And yeah, holds the peak elo all-time Protoss versus Terran. Just a Terran destroyer. He is just so good and so awesome to watch. And I'm hoping that he storms Light to hell. That would be the ideal in this situation, but we'll see if it actually goes that way. We saw in his OSL run, he took down Flash and he took down Fantasy, the top 2 TV peers today, Flash and Fantasy, and 2 of the best all time too. I'm sure they're both up there for elo peaks. I gotta think that they're both pretty high up there. And it's yeah, they're really good, but for him to have taken an OSL off of the 2 of them is really impressive. And yeah, I just gotta say that I'm so happy that he's back, finally, being in championship form, and I think he's got a really good shot in this game. Obviously, he is a great PvTer, as we all know, but on top of it, he's also going against Light, who Light is a great player, don't get me wrong, I actually really like Light, but Light's worst matchup by far is his versus Protoss. He struggles pretty hard in this matchup. It's actually his only matchup that he's under 50%, and he's just a terrorizer of Zergs and really strong versus Terran, but against Protoss, he just struggles a little bit. Not to the epic nature of, say, a Firebat Hero traditionally, although Firebat Hero has been playing a lot better recently against Protoss, but still definitely one of his a weak spot in his play is this matchup. And we'll see what they decide to do here with this map. It kind of lends itself to macro play if you're at cross positions, but since we're at near positions here at the bottom of the map, I expect to see a lot of Grand Line style-esque play where you see a lot of earlier pushes, like 4 fact pushes off of 2 base. You see Reavers come into play more often. I think Grand Line was just one of those maps where you saw Reavers a lot on that map, even in PvT, a little more than other maps. And I think it's definitely a possibility that we'll see something like that here, especially once they get the scout on each other and they realize their positioning and the nearness that they really are. If you're both on the right side, let's say Light, instead of being the bottom left, if he's at the top right, it's actually funny how big of a difference that really makes, because even though you're at near positions, the game actually generally is not as much of a push style as it is when you're both on the same side, like we are in this situation. Jamie going to come here for a scout with his probe, and he's actually going to sneak by both of the Marines and going to see the command center that has already been placed down, so that is a huge win for Jamie, getting that scout on, as those 2 Marines unable to stop the probe. So he's going to have a really good timing. He's going to have a really good understanding of the 1-rack CC timing. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to get up that ramp, and the probe did go down already. So he's not going to get a timing on anything else, but he knows what's going on. He's a pro, and he knows exactly that this is a 1-rack expo, and he's going to be getting his own Dragoon range here, and going to go and put down a little bit of pressure, and he's put down a pylon here at a proxy position. So is he going to place down a couple gateways, perhaps? I know a lot of this middle ground is actually pretty difficult to build on, but he could put down a proxy gate, maybe even fake, not a fake, but hidden tech, perhaps hidden DTs, could be a robotics facility. It could be any number of things, really, just to confuse Light and throw Light off his game. We'll see what it ends up being, and Jamie coming here with the Dragoon is going to be ushered back by the Marines popping out of that bunker. Second Dragoon for Jangbi is going to get rid of this SCV, and so this is actually really good for Jangbi. He's going to push that SCV out, and then as long as he can stop a scout from coming back in, Light's going to have no idea that there is a proxy robotics facility, and he's going to have Reavers up in his face pretty soon. So Jangbi, known mostly for his storms, the storm toss, the greatness of his storms, also has really strong Reaver play. And one of the things that you'll always note about great PvPers, and Jangbi definitely is in that class of wonderful PvPers, is that they all have fantastic Reaver play. So that goes for Bisu, for Stork, for Jangbi, for Harang 2. All these guys that are great at PvP are fantastic Reaver micros, Reaver microers. Let's go with that. And yeah, and it really works well for them, and they can use that in their Terran matchup and Zerg matchup very well, in addition to their PvP, where it's probably most important. Reavers are really freaking important in PvP, so that's where they learn it, that's where they use it the most, but it definitely comes into play in every other matchup. So Jangbi is getting up his second Nexus now while he gets that support bay. Obviously it will be significantly later than Light's natural, which is already operational. But with that Reaver, he'll have a chance to go in there and do some harassment. When you do that 1 Rax Expo, of course, your first tank is very late, which is why you need this bunker, and which is why he's eating all of these Dragoon shots right now and having to repair it and everything, is because of that 1 Rax CC. He is working on the tank, producing it right now, and probably researching Siege as we speak as well. We also have a control tower coming onto that starport, so it looks like we're going to have some dropship play from Light, but Jangbi coming in with an elevator with 3 Dragoons, and he could actually come in here and try and pick off the tank. Oh, wow, so lucky for Light. We're talking mere... Oh man, that is like a second off. If those Dragoons had come in a second earlier, or if those that tank was a second late, that could have been GG. That could have taken out that tank right away. So SCVs coming off the line, Marines coming out, as well as that tank, and they're going to try and stop these 3 Dragoons. And Jangbi getting ushered into a corner, manages to sneak a couple of Dragoons out, but one of them does go down. And he's going to try and do as much damage as here as he can. Picks off all of the Marines now, and just that one tank and all of the SCVs. And is he going to be able to pick up the tank? It looks like the tank is... The tank getting repaired, and the tank goes down, and a Reaver coming in here, so Jangbi with that Reaver going to be able to pick off tons of SCVs, and there go, oh, just one there, but the potential here to pick off so many SCVs is there. So with that Reaver and the shuttle with that tank, he's got a potential to do a ton of damage, but there is a Wraith brought in here, so changing up his build here a little bit is Light very wisely changing up into that Wraith, and that is going to save him for now. The shuttle did go down as well as both Dragoons, so, but the Reaver is still alive and picks up, picked off tons of SCVs. I think that was like 7 SCVs, 8 SCVs, 9 kills overall, but I think he picked off, a couple other units as well. But that was awesome for Jangbi, picking off those, all those SCVs that were clumped in there as they were going back to mine. So, really nice Reaver Scarab there by Jangbi. But as it stands right now, Light does hold. He's lost a lot of SCVs. He's lost a lot of mining time. Obviously, only something down to, what, 1 tank, maybe a second tank coming out soon. But he's still in. He still has those 2 bases operational. He will be able to get back to saturation, and the game certainly is not over by any stretch of the means. Still a lot to be seen. The game hangs in the balance, but it is pretty even at this point. Light has a. Light is going to start to build up some more factories here. We could still see a dropship pumped out for him if he wants to try and go for some sneaky vulture harass, see if he can sneak around the proxy and everything like that, and see kind of damage you can do there. Jangbi is setting up for his 3rd base there at the 3 o'clock position, going to neglect his near base that's just to the left of his base. Probably just really has no intention or desire to really expand toward his Terran opponent, and that's really good. Most Protoss players are like that. They don't want to expand towards their Terran opponent at all if they can help it, outside of like their natural expansion, and we'll just expand the other way around the map, and generally it's a very good idea. Jangbi coming in with an observer. I think he did see that dropship that's coming out here. There is a Wraith still in play, so it's going to be a little bit difficult for Jangbi to use his own shuttle to counter the dropping of that dropship of Light. But we'll see what he decides to do. And does Jangbi actually? Maybe Jangbi didn't actually see the shuttle. I thought he did. I thought the observer would have seen the shuttle, but he does have a probe there, so he does see it now. The vulture's getting dropped off as we speak. Just 2. Maybe there might be a couple more. Maybe he'll try and drop them somewhere else and mine up something. That is a possibility as well. Spider mines being placed down right now, and now vultures are starting to try and pick out some probes. Not picking off any yet. There's 1, there's 2. Will they get any more? There's a 3rd, and now Dragoons coming in here, and they are going to pick off these vultures, and Light not microing them. So this is some pretty poor play there by Light. I gotta say that was pretty sad. He could have microed those vultures around, probably picked off a lot more probes, or just brought them back in towards the mines, and then Jangbi would have had to wait for an observer before he could really push in there. So. Yeah, I really don't like that play by Light, but I do like it for Jangbi, of course. So either way, you know, good in some way, at least for me. And good scan coming off, and it doesn't actually pick up the observer, so Light just a little sloppy here. This is not looking like a really good game here for Light. And here comes a shuttle with the Reaver, and actually getting a couple scares off. It almost picks off the siege tanks. Both of them are in the red, so that is a very dangerous position right now for Light. And that speed shuttle with the Dragoon and the Reaver come back in, and they are going to pick off the siege tank that's actually in siege mode. And 2 more siege tanks, the 2 red ones, are going to try and survive and try and pick off what they can. But the Reaver comes in and picks off another one, and the Dragoons pick off the last. So no tanks left right now for Light. I apologize. Actually, there were 2 tanks at the 3 o'clock position. They went in for harassment, so that's why the tank count was so low. And it looks like there's no probes left there at that 3 o'clock. And he's coming in for some more harassment, going to try and get the natural expansion, see if he can pick off any more probes there. But Light has been forced to lift off his natural expansion, so he's not going to be able to mine there either. And these siege tanks, 3 kills on one. I can't see how many kills are on the other one. But Jangbi is bringing back his Reaver and his shuttle to try and clean this up, which he will be able to do. There it is. There's the Reaver. There is the Dragoon. And that means that this shuttle is going to be ushered away. I'm not going to be able to do any more damage. The shuttle, the dropship might go to try and tank the 3 o'clock again, but probably very risky. Yeah, not going to be able to do so. And Light just in turtle mode now. Light is in huge trouble. He's down 1 base to 3 as he's forced to lift off his natural command center. So things looking fantastic right now for Jangbi. Light doing actually a pretty good thing here. He's actually mining up outside his natural expansion, so those Dragoons are kind of trapped. So if he can actually push out a little bit, get his tanks in a good spot, he could actually take out all of those Dragoons with for very low cost. In which case he would be in pretty decent shape in terms of military, if not economically. And Jangbi coming in here with his Dragoons, trying to pick off that command center a little bit, and gonna huddle back into the corner of the mineral lines where those siege tanks can't actually reach him. But Jangbi is definitely trapped with a lot of those Dragoons, so it's not all fine and dandy for Jangbi at this moment, but definitely still looking good. And his Reaver is gonna be able to stop this Vulture harass as well. What else is Light going to do with that shuttle or that dropship? Looks like he's just wandering around right now. Might try and pick those vultures up again. Try and do something else, but doesn't seem very likely at this moment. And Light using the barracks to be as annoying as possible is going to make it very difficult for Jangbi to target his tank. When Jangbi decides to come in here. And Jangbi actually coming in here with the shuttles, and he's going to lose it to the turrets and the Goliaths. A little sloppy there by Jangbi, so we're seeing a little bit of rust here in the first game for both of these players. Definitely some imperfect play on both of their parts, but has been a very, very entertaining game so far. Dropship coming back probably with the 4 vultures, or the 4 vultures might just run home, who knows. But the Dragoons in the natural expansion for Jangbi, that's a lot of Dragoons, really worried about more harassment. I think Jangbi just understands the point of the game where he's been sitting here 3 bases to 1 for so long that he's so far ahead that even if as he's losing these Dragoons, which he's about to do, he's about to lose all of them, he's still so far ahead. It's been so long that Light's been only mining off of 1 base that it's really, really far behind. And as long as he can play defense and keep all of his probes alive and keep mining and stop any vulture harass, really 3 base versus 2, he's going to win with the amount of time that he's been able to have these 3 bases. So at this point, the onus is really on Light to try and get something done. I don't even know what he's going to be able to do at this point. Continue to use that dropship and see if he can find a weakness in Jangbi's defense. It does not look like Jangbi's placed down a whole lot of photon cannons or anything. I think I did see a forge, and now he is finally starting to put down a couple photon cannons. But in reality, I mean, Jangbi is still pretty vulnerable to harass. We have 2 shuttles out now for Jangbi, so Jangbi continue with the shuttle play, and we'll see where he decides to go with that, if that's going to be more Reavers or if there's some more tech in there. And Light actually macroing up a decent force here as he's going to try and take his 3rd base just to the right of his main and see if he can maybe try and even up the economies here. But still, that force, he needs to be very, very careful and make sure that he's got his tanks spread out, which he does. Has some good mines, because I have a feeling that's going to be double shuttles worth of Zealot bombs, or possibly 1 full of Zealot bombs and 1 with another Reaver is also possible. But this is actually a really, really powerful force for Jangbi with those 2 shuttles at this stage in the game. If they are Zealot bombs, even if they are or Reavers, it can do a ton of damage. So he's going to be right on top of it and be watching exactly what's going on and micro his troops as well as he can. So he's putting down a lot of spider mines, which is good. And here come the shuttles, and they are going to be, there's a Zealot, there's a bomb, there's some more Zealot bombs, and what's in the other one? There's some Zealots coming in there from the shuttles to actually that was awesome. You dropped the Zealots out of the shuttle to clear the mines. That was really, really cool. And then comes in with the Reaver and the Dragoon afterwards to clean everything up. That was actually really cool. It's a nice micro there too, picking up that couple more zealots with that Reaver. Gonna pick off the tanks on the high ground. That is gonna be GG whenever Light decides to type it. But that is going to be GG. That was really cool and a really nice nice play there by Jangbi. There's GG from Light, and so that's gonna be the first. That's actually the second set of the game. It was 1-0 Woongjin Star. So now it's gonna be tied 1-1, I think. Or maybe it's 2-0. I don't know. It was whatever. I don't even remember what happened in the first game. I didn't really check it. So, yeah, and I don't want to spoil it or anything for you now that I think about it. I actually don't know who's winning, but it doesn't really matter. Either way, Jangbi wins his first game in Pro League, off to a great start on my Fantasy Pro League team as well. But I'll see you guys on the next set. It's going to be Zero versus Stork, and should be equally epic. I'll see you guys there.